Yeah, it's first and foremost, it's good to return. It's good to see a lot of familiar faces. Training camp has been great. I think CT was talking about how, for the first time in Madden's history, guys were actually here early. We were there a week early playing pickup, being able to use the facilities, being able to add additions like David, and some other guys with more experience. But then also, it's a great blend of younger guys, and we can see that in practice right now. There's a lot of teaching going on, but I thought the learning curve was going to be a lot slower. The younger guys are picking up things a lot quicker, probably than I would have when I first got out of college. But it's been a really good and fun, encouraging group going forward, and I'm just trying to be able to be a leader for these guys to lean on when they're asking questions like, "Hey, what is it like in Fort Wayne? Where do we eat? Where do we stay?" So it's been awesome to be able to answer some of those questions for the guys.
Justin, when you look up and down the roster, obviously it's probably one of the deeper teams that we've seen here in a long time in Fort Wayne. Just, how do you feel about the group coming into the season opener later this week, and kind of what do you feel like the strengths of this roster are going to be?
Yeah, I think from our couple scrimmages that we had two scrimmages in Chicago versus the Bulls, Windy City Bulls, and Iowa Wolves. From what I've learned is we got a lot more playmakers, guys that can put the ball on the floor and make plays for themselves, but also create for others. And we have guys who can really shoot the ball. It makes my job a lot easier because I don't have to try to force it. This guy's been telling me since day one he's going to make my life easier, and I'm so excited. I'm sad that we're losing him to USA Basketball. I'm trying to convince him not to go, but I think with the addition of a veteran point guard like himself and the playmaking and shooting that we have on our roster, I think we'll be a much more fun team to watch because any given night you never know who can get it going. And you guys obviously know the Gabe Yorks, the Benny Boatwrights of the world. You know what they're capable of, but Tevin Brown's kind of surprised me with his shooting a little bit. Jermaine Samuels Jr. is a winner. You can see that Villanova pedigree in him. We have a really good roster. Eli from Michigan he's done a really good job. He surprised me a lot as well. So I think we have a really good roster.
Tom's entering year three as you guys as coach this year. How has he helped you guys, especially as you said, you have a younger group this year?
With threes?
It's his year three. How has he helped you guys as a coach?
Oh, yeah. I think Coach Carlisle kind of said this in a meeting, in an interview that I saw. I think it was just you actually. He said that Tom does a really good job of being positive. He really uses positive reinforcement to allow players to gain their confidence early and keep it as high as possible. And then when you're going through your lulls and your down moments, he's still there. He's still the same Tom. He's great guy, great coach, great leader, great listener. And I think the biggest thing for him that he's learned is now he's got his footing. He knows what the G League season is like without the COVID protocols and everything. I think he has his feet under him. You can kind of see him inserting himself a lot more in ways that I get to sit back and watch his growth as a coach and trust and lean on him to get me back to where I want to be ultimately. So I think he's been great in just year three. Carries it like he's in year 10. But it's been awesome to be able to be around him and play with him.
Justin, for you, obviously, you got that experience with the Pacers at the end of last year. Coming into this season, kind of what are your goals? What are your expectations for yourself coming back and being one of the leaders of this team?
Yeah, I mean, whatever I do, I want to be 2 feet in regardless. It was a lot of decisions to be made kind of towards the end of summer. I was very surprised about not being in an NBA training camp. And so, I recognized that the G League was a valuable route for me, and to be able to get 4 call-ups last year, I don't think there's anything away from it's not impossible to get 2 and maybe signed at some point during the season to finish the season with someone. But, even though those are my aspirations, I'm 2 feet here in the G right now. My focus right now is helping this team be the most complete and best team that it could possibly be, and I'll let the rest take care of itself. But let's not forget about this guy here. I mean, what he's been able to accomplish is incredible.
And David, for you, coming in as a veteran, kind of a point guard for this team, kind of what are you, hoping to take on as a leadership role, and also, just as a point guard for this group?
Really just come in and, have fun and do this one more year. I saw the roster coming in, and it just, super talented, obviously, and then, with the experience aspect to a lot of the guys on the team, it was kind of a no-brainer. I think, some of the G League teams I've been on, the more experience you have. You know, everybody looks good, everyone scores, you know, and obviously the G League's a springboard, but everyone scores the numbers and then you end up winning. So, you know, so if you can find that mix, and I think this team has a potential to do that, then it's a good spot to be.
David, not to ask you a question you've probably gotten a million times, but I've got to ask you about your dad and just kind of the effect that's had on you as a player and you know, just, you know, at this stage in your career, can you look back a little bit and see kind of the impact that he had in shaping you as a player to today?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I kind of owe him, especially, you know, from a professional standpoint, everything. You know, I was able to watch him play as I was taking basketball, you know, a lot more serious as a young player, and then, you know, ever since I've just had just a wealth of knowledge, you know, a free encyclopedia, I guess, of what it is to be a pro. And, you know, if I have questions here, or when you saw this, and it could be even, you know, tactical with defense or or ball screens or just passing, you know, and just such a wealth of knowledge, and it's just been kind of an honor to be to be able to ask him those things, you know, and have that behind me.
Has it been difficult? I mean, obviously there's always going to be some comparisons, and has that been tough for you throughout your career?
You know, I don't think so. I think, you know, I've always, if there was any, you know, pressure or whatever, I just wore it pretty well, you know, pretty good, and never really think about it too much. If anything, in my mind, it's you know, helped me just having that wealth of knowledge, and you know, trying to just, you know, represent as best I can.
Justin was talking about all the talent on this team as the point. You know, you get a different perspective of that. What have you seen so far, just from the guys around you, and what you like about this roster?
Well, I mean, top to bottom, you know, like Justin said, you know, we have great veterans and experience, but we also have great, you know, youth and, you know, and athleticism there. It's as complete as a G League team to start as I've been on, and I mean, I think that's kind of going around the league a little bit. The league's getting a lot better, but just in practice, coming in a week early, using the facilities down in Indianapolis and playing with those guys, and just the atmosphere has been great, and couldn't be happier.
It's just a well-known culture and how they carry themselves as an organization. I feel like it's a lot of hands-on, from the GM to the trainers. Like, everybody's involved, with the top guy to the, you know what I'm saying, the bottom roster guy is just very involved. I think it was just an opportunity for me to make a name for myself and be part of a rebuilding process. I think it's a great opportunity, not just for me, but a lot of my teammates, a lot of coaching staff, just to get their names out there and just show what they're capable of.
Kind of describe your game for us. What are you hoping to bring to this team, and kind of what are you hoping to, you know, be you know, for this team out on the court?
I just look to bring this team my A game every day, be a good leader on and off the court, lead by example. I just want to bring a championship to the mat, and that's the big goal all of us have at the end of the day.
When you look up and down this roster, obviously it's a, you know, a very deep team from top to bottom. Just how do you feel about the group that you guys do have coming into this year?
We have a great group. It's like a lot of vet guys on the team too. That have a lot of experience from the G League, NBA, overseas. I've been together for about a week with these guys, and we're all clicking already. We all get to know each other, relationship building. Like I said, yeah, it's a great group of guys. We all work hard. We all have a reason why we're doing what we're doing, and those reasons click.
Trevor, you obviously had a great season last year. Can you talk a little bit about what made you successful last year, and how you're going to use that moving forward for the Mavericks?
I think just going day by day, just trying to figure out how to be the best version of myself within the team, within the system, within everybody. So for me, just being able to express myself on the court freely and just be the player I am, it was easier for me to make everybody else better and get everybody else involved, because I knew that I was able to be myself without worrying about coming out the game, or, you know what I'm saying, getting yelled at because of a certain mistake. I was allowed to be myself, and I felt like that made everything else easier for me.
Having the championship experience last year, how do you feel like that will help you instill that into this team this year?
Just to know what it takes to get there and how hard it is to actually win a championship, whether it's the G League, NBA, anywhere. It's hard to win a championship regardless, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like I can show the guys what it takes to get through them tough days and rough days, that two-a-days, those those games where I feel like everybody's against us, even the refs, that you have to keep having that willpower and that fight to keep going.
Kendall, you just went through training camp with the Pacers, then traveling on the road, then training camp with this team. How much do you feel like you've grown even in just in the last month or so, and how will that help you this year with the Mad Ants?
Yeah, I feel like I've grown a lot, just, being around everyone, and just getting accustomed to the lifestyle of how it is, coming from college into here. I felt like I just adapted pretty well and just getting ready for a season.
Can you describe that adjustment from college to pro game now?
Yeah, in college, you don't play like a lot of games. You're not traveling as much. You don't play 32 or whatnot, and you just got a lot of time to practice in between. But when you're on the road, you're on the road, and you gotta focus up really quick and have quick back-to-back turnarounds. So just being able to lock in right away and being ready for the next thing to come.
What did you take away from the summer that can help you in the coming days here?
Just being able to take care of my body and just, learning like how to recover faster and be ready for the next thing to come.
Kendall, what are you hoping to bring to this team as another two-way guy? What are your goals, your aspirations for yourself, and what just kind of describe your game for us a little bit?
Ultimately, just to win, to get better, and I say just hiring the guy, bring defense, crash, and just do a lot of everything. I feel like I can do a lot of everything on the court and just get better with my teammates.
Obviously, we've asked the other guys too, but just how do you feel about this roster, this group coming into this season? Obviously, a very deep squad.
Yeah, great group of guys. We all bond really well, so that's just going to help us on the court. Veteran guys, a lot of people with experience that we can all learn from, so I'm just really excited.
Back for another season in Fort Wayne. How excited are you to be back and for another season with the franchise?
Yeah, definitely excited, man. Last year had a great opportunity. A lot of guys here that I've known from last year came back this year, and you don't really see that a lot in the G League. So just a lot of things made sense to come back and try and make get back to the NBA a real possibility again. So talking to some of the people, just this environment that the Mad Ants and the Pacers have given us to kind of succeed and be successful is really second to none. So it just kind of felt like a no-brainer to come back and get ready for this next season.
The experiences you had last year, from your call-up to everything, just how do you think that ultimately helped you and, as you get ready for, your second season back in the States?
Yeah, I think if you look at my career, this is the first time I've ever done something back-to-back, right? Like my whole career has been overseas and in G League and back and forth like that. So, kind of for me, I see this as kind of that last opportunity, get an NBA roster spot. So, like I said, again, it's just something that I felt like I needed to come back and do and showcase yet again my talents, what I can do through playing with guys like Kendall, Trevelin, Justin Anderson, David Stockton, guys like that, right? Just being able to play against guys like that helps a lot. So definitely excited to be back.
When you look at the roster, obviously with the additions of guys like David, Trevelin, Kendall, and then you bring in guys, like Justin and the other guys who had a lot of experience in the G League and the NBA the last couple of seasons. How excited are you about this roster?
Yeah, definitely excited. I think every day in practice it gives you a chance to get better, gives you a chance to kind of showcase what you can do against NBA talent. You don't have that on a lot of G League teams, being able to play against NBA roster guys. So definitely something you got to take advantage of and understand where you're at. And every day you have to, come ready to play and be ready to go. If not, somebody's going to go after you and show that if they're better than you, that opportunity is going to show. So I think it just makes you work harder every day and understand the process of the game of basketball. And when you have guys, like I said, on a team like this, it's just you have to bring your A game every day.
Where are you hoping to see your game grow? Maybe the most from last season, or what can we expect to see differently? Maybe out of Gabe York, obviously we know we saw you shoot the lights out of the gym at times, but
right.
Where are you kind of hoping to see your game grow from last season?
I mean, I think on the defense end, you could always grow, right? There's always things you can do to get better. I think defensively, I can make a niche on this team, shooting like you said, but I think things that I've gotten better at, ball handling, being able to make passes through tight windows, getting guys involved, being a playmaker. So hopefully get an opportunity to play a little one and be able to, get my guys involved and show I could play make as well as score.
I'll ask you one, Gabe, just since it happened after the Mad Ant season had wrapped, but for the fans who are following you here in Fort Wayne who maybe didn't catch some of the podcasts or something you did, you know, and reflecting on the call-up last year with the Pacers, you know, what was that like? And especially, I know you have the story about KD talking to you on the court, so what was that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it took 8 years for me to get to that point, right? I had an opportunity with Orlando that got cut short through COVID, so I didn't even really get that opportunity. So for the Pacers to be able to do that for me, kind of those last couple games, it was dope, right? Like it felt great to be able to finally get that out the way, but it wasn't satisfying by any means. Definitely something I feel like where I belong and what I can do on a day-to-day basis. So, yeah, the KD moment was awesome, right? Like I get to the stanchion, I'm about to come in, and I'm thinking he's gonna say something just on some big man stuff, right? Talk down to me or whatever. And he was just like, "Hey, man, like I seen what it took to get here, like, woo, woo, woo," right? Said some other choice words, but it was dope to be able to hear someone like that, see the struggle that I went through. When you go through stuff like that, being overseas, it's like you feel like you're kind of invisible at times. So it was dope for, you know, one of the greatest to be able to say that to me. It just made it seem like, all right, bet, like I'm gonna keep this going, keep that fire lit under that flame to try and make this happen again. So
That was after the game?
this was during the game.
This was during the game.
Yeah, during the game, yeah.